Hi friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Angel and I am so glad you're here. Have you ever seen or purchased those 8-pound pork loins and wondered what would you do with all of that pork? I do purchase those pork loins and I cut them up and bag them up into Ziploc bags and then just freeze them and just pull them out in the freezer when I need them. Today I'm going to show you 2 of my family's favorite recipes using pork loin. That's enough fishing. Have a seat and let's get started. I'm going to make some Mexican food tonight. I have half of a bag of pinto beans that I am going to make into refried beans. I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you have to go through. Occasionally there's like little rocks in here. I know that sounds gross. That's why we have to sort them. This is called sorting your beans. I just put them in a little colander like this. These all look fine. I'm not seeing any rocks in here, so I'm just going to put them all in here. And just so you know, all of your dried beans do have expiration dates. I will say I don't usually go by that. I had some beans that were probably closer to 3 years old. I did not realize that. I just thought, oh, I've got some beans here. Let's use those up. I could not remember when I had purchased those, so I cooked them up and they were just fine. I didn't realize that till later. So the dates just, I don't usually go by that. These are not outdated, but if they were, it really wouldn't matter. So if you want to buy the big bag of dried beans, you can, and you do not have to feel like you're rushed to cook them all up and eat them all before they expire. Just use a little at a time. You can put these in a container or just a Ziploc bag, just something to keep them fresh and keep the bugs out of it. And they'll be good for years. I'm gonna rinse these off in cold water. All right, I'm gonna make this in my pressure cooker. I rinsed off the beans and I'm just gonna put them in my pressure cooker pot. Then I'm going to add 5 cups of water. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt and 2.5 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. I'm gonna put this on the bean setting for 30 minutes. All right, these beans are done. I'm going to take a little of the liquid out and save it. And then as I'm mashing the beans, I can add a little more liquid so they don't dry out. I'm gonna put this on sear and it'll just keep cooking it and then I'll just keep mashing as it's cooking. I'm gonna mash this down a little bit more. If it starts to get a little too dry, you can always add some of the broth that you had saved. If you have an immersion blender, you can use that and make it a little bit smoother if you'd like. Otherwise, it's ready. That's how you make refried beans. Next, I'm going to make fajitas. I have about 2 pounds of pork. I'm going to slice it thin and then cut those slices into thin strips. You can do the same thing with chicken breasts. I'm going to put those strips into a quart-sized Ziploc bag so I can marinate them before cooking. I have more than what I need for fajitas. I have about half of a pound extra. I'm going to put this into a container and refrigerate it, and then tomorrow I will cook it in a crock pot for another meal. I like to make my fajita seasoning. I usually have all the ingredients on hand. You need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon paprika, 1 teaspoon sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of chicken bouillon, 1/2 of a teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper or crushed red pepper flakes, and 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Just mix these together. To marinate the meat, in the Ziploc bag, pour 1/4 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of the seasoning mix, or 1 packet of the store-bought fajita seasoning. Zip the bag shut and mix it well with your hands. You want to massage this marinade into the meat and let it sit for 15 minutes on the counter. I need 1 bell pepper, any kind. I just have these peppers that were frozen. I'm going to cut these into strips. If you have 1 medium onion, you can add that as well. I am out of onion right now. I'm just going to add extra pepper in place of the onion. I have a saute pan and I'm going to turn my heat on to medium-high. I'm going to add my marinated meat and all my vegetables. And the peppers. If you have onion, you add that too. We're gonna cook this for about 7 to 8 minutes. This cooks up really fast, so it's a nice quick meal. It's been 8 minutes. This is what it looks like. You can serve it like this, or for a more authentic taste, so I'm told, you can put in a little bit of lime juice. Be careful, this is not like the lemon juice with the squirt top. There's a bigger hole and it comes up pretty fast. Ask me how I know this. So a little bit, and also some Worcestershire sauce. Shake it up really good. And then I'm just gonna, like that, stir that in, shut my heat off, and it's ready to serve. Smells so good. And that's how you make homemade fajitas. This is the pork tenderloin that is left from the fajitas that I made the other night. It's not a lot, I realize that, but it is still half a pound of meat, and you can use it for so many different things. So I'm going to coat it in I have some canola oil, and then I'm going to sprinkle, I'm just going to do salt and pepper, just a little salt on both sides. And then I'm going to sear this and cook it in my pressure cooker. All right, I have my pressure cooker and I turned it on sear roast, and I'm going to add the tenderloin to it. All right, it's been a couple of minutes. I'm going to check the bottom and get a little bit of color. I'm going to cook it on this side for a couple of minutes. It's been about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Let's check the bottom. That looks good. Now I'm going to hold each side down just to get a little bit of color that way. All right, I'm going to shut that off. All right, I'm going to take this out. Most pressure cookers come with a trivet like this. Just going to set it like this, right across. It's not going to fall in, it'll be fine. And then I'm going to pour some water in the bottom, just for the steam. Close this up. This will only take about 3 minutes. I'm gonna go with the chicken, change my time. When it's done, I'm gonna let the steam release naturally, so it'll give it a little bit extra cooking time. All right, I'm just gonna shred this. And this is what half a pound of shredded pork looks like. I would guess this is about enough for 2 people. And again, you can do so much with this. Just pull it out of the freezer if you need a quick meal. Just add your barbecue sauce to it, or add different spices to it. You could do burrito bowls with it, add some taco seasoning to it. Possibilities are pretty endless with this. I'm going to make sweet and sour pork. I'm going to start with the sweet and sour sauce. I need 3/4 cup of sugar, 4 tablespoons of ketchup, half of a cup of white distilled vinegar, 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. Whisk that together. I almost forgot, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Now I'm just going to set this aside for later. I have 1.5 pounds of a pork loin. First, I'm just going to trim the fat off. Slice. If you buy a pork loin like this, you can slice it and make pork chops, boneless pork chops, just like this. I'm just going to cut this into pieces. I'm making sweet and sour pork. Do the same thing with chicken. If you have chicken breasts, your chicken breasts, and just cut them into chunks, kind of like that. I'm going to put this in that container, and I'll season them in here. Then I'm going to make some fried rice to go with this. One of our favorite meals in this house. I'm just going to get all of this sliced and cut up into little cubes, and I'll be back. All right, I got all of that cut up, and now I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. Toss it a little bit if you want. I've washed my hands, but I have to wash again because this is raw. I think that's coated really good. I'm going to go wash again, and I'll be back. All right, I'm going to set up a few stations here for the pork. I'm going to crack 2 eggs and put them in this nice broken container. It works. Don't judge. Beat your eggs. I stretch this a little bit further. Typically, I think the recipe is 1 pound of chicken. I have 1.5 pounds. So I know I'm going to need more in this container, I'm going to run out. So to stretch it a little bit, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of water, mix that in. If it looks like I'm going to run out as I'm making it, I'm just going to add more water and it will be just fine. I need 1 cup of cornstarch. I'm trying to set this up so you can see everything. I'm going to take the pork, dip it in the cornstarch, coat it really well, dip it in the egg and water mixture, coat that, and then I'm going to put this in my electric skillet. You do that on the stovetop in a regular skillet, that's fine. I would probably keep it on a medium heat. My electric skillet, I've got it plugged in and I'm going to turn it to 275 degrees, let that get hot. While I'm waiting for that to get hot, I'm going to take my pork and put it in the cornstarch. Usually I wear gloves. Today, I guess I'm being more daring and I am not. I'm just gonna have to wash my hands. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands and I'll be right back. This is hot. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. I'm gonna take a bunch of this, put it in here, and then just drop them in. I'm not going to cook these all the way through. I'm just trying to get these brown. All right, I got all of the pork in here. I've washed my hands again, and I'm going to flip this. Turn them over. Get this side nice and kind of golden brown a little bit. I'm going to break these apart. These are also going to be baking for 45 minutes, so they do not need to be cooked through all the way right now. All right, I'm going to shut my skillet off and I'm going to put these in a 9x13 pan. Get all of the pork in the cake pan, and then I'm going to whisk the sweet and sour sauce that I made earlier. Pour that over the top and then just stir lightly to coat. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for 45 minutes total. But every 15 minutes, I'm going to take it out and turn it. And the sauce thickens up really good. All right, my electric griddle is wiped out and I've turned the temperature to 275 degrees. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Any kind of oil is fine. 1 onion diced. I have only ever made this with onion flakes. So I just have a dried onion. I'm just going to add about a tablespoon or so. If you have any leftover cooked meat like turkey, chicken, ham, or if you want to add some lunch meat, dice that up and throw that in, you could do that. I've only ever made it with eggs. I have 5 eggs in here with 5 tablespoons of water. I don't even season this, but if you want to add salt and pepper, you could. I don't. And I'm just going to scramble it right in this pan with the onion. If you have any cooked meat though, this is a point to add that. Then I'm going to add a 12-ounce bag of frozen green beans. If you have a 10-ounce bag, that's fine, you can do that. If you just have canned green beans, just add those at the end. Drain them, rinse them, and then add them at the very end because they're already cooked. And cook this for 2 minutes. And then I need to add 4 tablespoons of oil again. All right, once the oil warms up, add 6 cups of cooked rice. I just have white rice. I use long grain white rice. You can use brown rice, white rice, long grain, instant rice, doesn't matter as long as it's cooked. You just need 6 cups. And then kind of slowly stir that in. Mine was refrigerated, so that's why it's kind of sticking together. I need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I always have leftovers, and when I reheat this, I usually add more soy sauce to it, just like another tablespoon. And then I need half of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, a dash of pepper. I just sprinkle it until I think it looks good. I'll do way more than 1 dash. It's probably closer to 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then just stir it. Mash up your rice, break up your eggs. And then if you have it, you can add 4 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. It's good without it. It just adds a little bit extra. and then stir that in. Once you get everything stirred in, we're going to let this stir fry for 10 to 15 minutes. I typically go closer to 15 minutes. Just stir occasionally so it doesn't stick and doesn't burn. That's what the pork looks like after 15 minutes. I'm just going to stir this. I'm going to put this back in the oven for 15 minutes. All right, it has been 15 minutes. And then I have 1 carrot that I julienne cut. You can buy them that way. And then I have probably like half of a pepper. You can do 1 whole chopped green pepper, whatever color you want, green, red, orange, yellow, you do you. Stir this up for 2 minutes. It also, if you are using canned green beans, this is the point you would add those. This is just going to cook for 2 minutes and it's ready. The pork is almost ready. Here's the pork after it's been a half hour now. Just going to stir this up and then bake this another 15 minutes. Then I just serve it on a plate or in a bowl. Put my fried rice and then the sweet and sour pork on top. And then tonight we are going to have a fortune cookie because I found these at the discount store. And that's dinner tonight. Thanks for joining me today. Do you have a favorite recipe using pork? Let us know down below in the comments. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button down below. That shows me that you like this video. And please share this video with someone that you think might enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe. It's free to you and it really helps out my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.